He finally admitted that he went 10 feet in the snow that night.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I did not.
Say you drank too much wine.
Whoa.
What?
I said the only thing that I disagree in that story is that you say that I only went 10 feet. I say I went at least 10 yards. At least 10, maybe 7 yards.
You know what? I want you, because I've heard the story from him. I want your version of this story and tell the audience about what happened that night.
I'm not the whole story, but.
All right, so this is 1989. We don't have cell phones. We don't. I mean, we've got the rotary phones, and he had an apartment. I had an apartment
In Nashville.
Yeah, in Nashville, and so I'm gonna let you tell the story, but I'm just setting it up. So he was going to drive. He had a maroon Ford Taurus, and it was going to be me and him, and Dirty White Boy and Dirty White Girl. Mm-hmm. We were all going to share trans and go from. We all lived in Nashville. Monday night we'd go to Memphis.
200 miles.
200 miles. We drive back to Nashville. The next night we go to Louisville. We're gonna drive his car because we got 4 people. We're gonna drive his car. Go ahead.
So everything, I drove there, right? I drove to Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay, the weather was fine.
It was beautiful.
Weather was fine. Nice day. We drove. We get to Memphis, and Mr. Coffee, I think it was.
Yep, Mr. Coffee was in the back of the Mid-South Coliseum.
He comes and basically tells us that there's a storm coming. The show's been canceled. And we're kind of looking around going, it don't look like no storm to us.
No, it wasn't a flake of snow, any rain, anything. It's just like, it's cold, but
So we decided to stop and eat somewhere. It was maybe
TGIF.
Okay, we stopped at TGIF's, and we probably all together had $15 in our pocket.
Yeah, I still remember that we had enough money to buy an appetizer.
Yeah.
And us all like get either a water or like a Diet Coke, maybe a beer.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you're getting paid $35, $50 for a show and spending $30 on gas.
Yeah, so that's what we do. We get our appetizer, and by the time we come out, the sky has opened up, and it is a blizzard. And now we've got 200 miles to get back to Nashville. We don't have money. It's snowing so bad. Like if I'd have had the money, or any of us had money, we would have got a hotel.
Yeah.
And then just drove from Memphis to Louisville the next day. But we ain't got any money, so we've got to make this trek back to Nashville.
So
go ahead.
So Taker goes, hey man, you're from the West Coast. You're not used to driving in this, man. This is going to be bad. Let me drive. I'll get us in. No problem. I'm used to this. Let's do it. So now I'm like, okay, all right, let's do it. So he takes off. He's doing great. But, I mean, there's carnage everywhere. There's trucks slid, cars wrecked, deer on the road. It's just crazy, man. People on it's crazy. But he's doing a great job.
I'm doing 10 miles an hour.
But he's doing good.
But we're making progress.
He's doing good. For some reason, I don't know why, I decide, oh, wait, did we pull over?
Yes. So Kim, that's her name, right?
Yes,
Kim,
we pulled over.
White girl, she had to pee. So by this time, we hadn't seen anybody in hours. Like nobody on the road at all. And it's still kind of coming down, but she had to, this has been 5 hours driving. And she had to pee. I stopped right in the middle of Interstate 40. And I said, all right, me and him went to the front of the car. She did what she had to do. And that's when he decides, hey, okay, we're like 50, 60 miles at this point outside of Nashville. He said, I'll bring us in. I was like, bro, I got this, man. I got us this far. We only got, at that point, would have been another 2.5, 3 hours. I said, I got this, man. No, man, I got it. It's my car. Let me drive.
Hard hit.
I'm like, dude, I was like, I kind of got a feel for it now. No, man, I'm driving. Like just mean about it, right? I'm like, fuck, okay, man, go ahead. We all get back in the car.
This is where there's a difference in this story. I take off. You know what? I went at least 10 yards, and then I think I had to swerve to hit a deer or something. So I turned the wheel. The car started spinning. Thank God I saved that deer's life. And then because of the spinning, I tried to correct it, tried to oversteer, and somehow we ended up in a ditch. Kind of.
There was no
teetering.
deer. Let me just clarify that there was no deer.
There was you didn't see that deer?
No. There was no deer.
No.
Absolutely no deer. And
sure?
it was a scene. It was like the scene in a movie. Like we're like this from the road to the ditch. The car, the front right car, the front right wheel is not touching anything.
My God, I'm laughing too hard.
The car.
He's over off the bike.
It's just teetering. I had to go out through the driver's side so that the car did not flip into the ditch. So now the four of us are standing in the middle of Interstate 40.
10 feet away from where you just got that pee in.
Taker's hot. He's hot now. He's
Pissed.
He's pissed. Looking at me just like
I'd put in all these hours of drive, and I'm telling you, like, if I got up to 15 miles an hour, it was like white knuckle, because it was just I can't even begin to tell you the amount of cars that are already in the ditch and semis that are in the ditch, and it's still snowing and there's fog. It's the worst storm I'd ever been in.
Yeah.
It is the worst, absolutely
You
worst.
shouldn't have let me drove. You should have been insisted. Hey, no, you ain't doing it.
Oh, it's my fault now.
You know what I mean?
So we're standing out in the middle of Interstate 40, and I'm just staring a hole in him.
Freezing your balls off.
Freezing, like, yeah, I ain't get shit for a jacket or anything, right? I can't even afford an appetizer at TGI Fridays. And I'm just staring at him. I want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's like, man, we could be halfway. We could be halfway to our apartments by now.
And we were rescued.
Oh, so finally, we're standing out. I don't know, maybe 45 minutes. We're standing in the middle.
Lord.
And it's
I don't
barely
think nobody passed.
nobody.
There's
There's nobody.
There's nobody.
Nobody coming our way. Finally, we see headlights going the opposite direction. It's a highway patrolman. And we're like, oh my gosh, we're saved, right? So this highway patrolman sees us, and finally he goes down. He's got chains on his wheels. He turns around. He's like, what are you guys doing out here? We're freezing. That's what we're doing. Why are y'all out here? Like, well, we're trying to get to Nashville. He said, well, I said, our car's over there in the ditch. He's like, oh. Yeah. I said, can you give us a ride to somewhere? And he goes, well, the next exit up, there's like an inn, like a motel. I mean, like Norman Bates type shit, right? And he goes, I can take y'all up there. And I was like, we're like, fine. Yeah, that if you don't mind, if you'd give us a ride up there, right? So they start piling in. Tony, Kim, Bear start piling in the back, and I'm gonna get in the front, right? I'm gonna get in the passenger side seat. He goes, oh no. He says, you can't sit up there. You got to get in the back.
Tony's got to be 300 pounds,
Tony,
280, 300.
250, 275, 330, probably 315, 320. Thank goodness Kim was 95 pounds. I think she laid across the three of us. We are squeezed in there like sardines in a can in the back of a squad car. And you know, they got the metal retaining wall back there.
Yeah.
And we can't even breathe. You can't even take a deep breath. We're squeezed in there so tight. We drive up. He lets us off at the end.
How did we pay for it?
So Tony had just enough money on his credit card for a deposit. Like, and it was like $35 for this. This is 1989, and it was not that expensive, but we just didn't have
Then I
any
think
money.
My wife, I think, Instagrammed or whatever, not Instagram, with MoneyGrammed us some
Yeah.
money because I blew out the tire, and it had to be towed, and then they had to fix something because
Yeah, and then the snow blowers too. They came through and put the car in the ditch so that, for whatever reason, so
hardhead.
he had to get up early, get the car. We get to Nashville just long enough for everybody to go home for like 10 minutes,
go to work.
and then we had to turn around and drive to Louisville, Kentucky,
To make another $35.
to make another $35.
Those are the adventures and stories you remember.
10 feet.
No.
10
no, come
feet.
on. That's
10
not even
feet.
the length of the
We were
car.
in a 10 feet. We're in a slide.
The deer.
The deer.
It was a,
The deer.
telling
When
you,
the
I
deer
see
saw you get behind the wheel, the deer ran the other direction. 10 feet. I'm like, oh, we're going, we're going, and then it's like this. We're just teetering on the edge. I don't want to hear it. And then from that point on, it's just been one adventure
after the next-
another.
Oh my God.
What happened in Louisville the next night? Do you remember that match at all? I mean, were y'all
I couldn't tell you.
know.
were you pissed off and
Dude,
just tired?
Exhausted is what we were. We didn't
You
get
did a
any
lot of
sleep.
traveling back then.
Oh, dude, I put on that
Ford?
Ford Escort I had in 8 months. I put like 45,000 miles
you
on
drove
it.
a lot.
And was it just bouncing around like that? You had that one territory and it was just bouncing from city to city, 200 miles away from each other on most of them.
Well, they were set Monday night. You worked Memphis, so we lived in Nashville. So Monday night was Memphis. Tuesday night was Louisville. So you're driving, and then you drive back to Nashville. Wednesday night was either Evansville or
Usually
Owensboro.
Evansville or Owensboro. That's payday.
Yeah, so that's where you got paid on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday were spot shows, which were usually further down close to Memphis, because you had to be at Memphis, the TV studio,
Saturday morning
for Memphis TV, and then you drove back to Nashville for the house show
and Fairgrounds.
Saturday night.
Yep.
Sundays we had off.
Yeah. And then have to go right back to Memphis on Monday.
Yeah, and then right
Why
back
didn't
to
y'all just live in Memphis?
It's too much trash.
It would've been-
That would be adding
yeah.
150 miles to your trip.
So I feel like you had multiple days where you had to be in Memphis.
Yeah, but after you did Memphis TV, you still had to go back to Nashville to
got
do
a
the
show.
house show.
And then you had to come back from Memphis on Monday.
And then Louisville on Tuesday. So Louisville's north, Evansville is north.
So Nashville was a little bit. I mean, it was more
it was
centered.
centrally low. It was centrally located.
Yeah.
And we put some miles on some vehicles, man.
So you're putting 45,000 miles a year on a car, and you weren't driving more than 500 miles at a time. It doesn't sound like.
No. We were.
It was just.
It was just back. Yeah, it
Pinging.
was the same. It was the same trips. You know, the McMinnvilles and the Jonesboroughs and all these places.
Who traveled? It was me and you, and mostly me and you.
Yeah, it was mostly me and you. I don't know. Frankie the Thumper there? No, that was the second time around. Dutch probably was in there with us. Yeah. I know.
Well, plus we both lived in Nashville, so
Yeah.
it was easy for us to do it.
Yeah.
Those are some good times, though. I mean, those are the funny stories. Broke
broke as
money,
hell, man. We so broke we couldn't pay attention.
You remember going to Wendy's and somebody would pay us? Wendy's was one of the first restaurants that had a buffet. I think it was Wendy's.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd go there and one person would pay for get the receipt and then eat and then meet the other guy in the bathroom and give him the receipt. And then give it to, because we had no money.
We
We used to do a cup of pickles at Burger King. So you'd go to Burger King, you'd order a hamburger, get it, go sit down. All you'd order was the hamburger. That was it. Go back up and go, hey, can I get some extra pickles? And they'd always put them in a cup. And it's just like a small cup. You go back, empty out the pickles, you go over and get yourself a drink. And then have to pay for the drink.
That's thinking, though.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so
the
we would
things you do.
We would do that,
to survive.
Yeah, just to save an extra $1.50, whatever it was, for a soda.
Oh, my God.
Yes, but those things. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, it builds friendships, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Hard times build a
yeah.
friendship and a bond that's hard to break between. And I mean, you guys, it's very rare you find two folks have a 36-year long friendship like y'all have.
Yeah.
And I think it's built through being
Those
on the
times.
road, the hard times, the tough times, just
Marriages,
trying to scrape it together.
marriages,
yeah.
kids,
Good kids, good
just
times,
life,
bad
Good- yeah.
times. So by the time that we get back, we hook back up, and he comes in as Papa Shango, and so I'd already been there. I think you came in 92,
91, I think.
91, yeah. So, phew, man, when he came in, ooh, Lordy, we had our. You talk about a couple degenerates, man. We had it down.
Yes.
We had it down.
Well, now
to
you got a little bit of cheese.
Yeah. We ain't got to worry about the miss a meal cramps anymore.
No. We had it down.
Yeah. We did.
Sleep when you're dead.
That was our motto.
Yeah.
We'll sleep when we're dead. We didn't. We hardly. Only time we ever slept was on airplanes.
How many times did we come back to our hotel room just to never slept in the hotel room,
Never
just
even-
to pick
yeah.
up our bags to go to the airport?
Yeah. That was
And
mainstay.
you know what? We never missed the show, though. Never, no matter
And
what.
he talks about that all the time.
We never missed the show.